Everyone told me to let it go. My mom, my therapist, even the barista who saw me crying over a venti latte 3 days ago. They all said, "Sarah, silence is the best revenge. Just stay home." But silence doesn't fix a 20-year lie. Silence doesn't make you feel better when your own brother uninvites you from his wedding because his fiancée thinks you're bad luck. I didn't go to the church. I respected the security guards posted at the entrance with my photo on a clipboard. But nobody checked the reception hall's AV system. Nobody realized that I'd been the one helping plan this wedding for 6 months before the ban. And nobody knew that while they were cutting the cake, my voice was about to fill the room. Not with a scream, but with a pre-recorded toast that revealed exactly why the bride was really marrying him. And trust me, it wasn't for love. It was for something much darker, something buried in a police report from 2019 that my brother thought he paid enough money to make disappear. Let's rewind. Because to understand why I nuked my relationship with my entire family last Saturday, you need to understand the dynamic between me and my brother, Mark. Mark is the golden child. You know the type. If Mark got a C in math, it was the teacher's fault. If I got a B, I wasn't applying myself. He's 2 years older, charming, handsome in that generic catalog way, and entirely hollow. For years, I played the role of the dutiful sister. I cleaned up his messes. Literally. When he crashed his car in college, I picked him up. When he got fired for misappropriating funds at his first finance job, I loaned him rent money that I never saw again. Then came Jessica. Jessica is perfect. On Instagram. She's an influencer with about 50k followers, the kind who posts photos of avocado toast with captions about manifesting abundance. Mark met her 6 months ago. It was a whirlwind. Sudden. Intense. They were engaged in 8 weeks. I was happy for him. Honestly. I thought maybe he was finally settling down. I threw the engagement party. I put down the deposit on the florist because Mark's credit card was having issues. But then the weird stuff started happening. It began with the dress fitting. Jessica invited me, my mom, and her sisters. Standard stuff. But every time I tried to speak to her, she'd physically turn her back. If I picked up a dress sample, she'd cringe and ask the attendant to sanitize it. I asked my mom about it later. Mom just sighed and said, "Jessica is just superstitious, honey. She thinks your energy is a bit heavy." Heavy? I asked. I'm paying for her hydrangeas. Mom looked away. Just try to be less, you. That was the first red flag. But the real kicker came 2 weeks before the wedding. Mark called me. He sounded weird. Rehearsed. "Sarah," he said. "Jess and I have been talking. We think it's best if you don't come to the ceremony." I laughed. I thought he was joking. "Okay, very funny. I'll see you at the rehearsal." "No," he said, his voice dropping an octave. "You're not listening. You're uninvited. To everything. Jess thinks you're bad luck. She says every time you're around, something breaks or goes wrong. She doesn't want that energy on her big day." I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, listening to the silence on the other end. "I paid for the florist, Mark. I paid for the DJ. We'll pay you back," he said quickly. "Eventually. Just don't come. If you show up, security will escort you out." He hung up. I stared at the wall for an hour. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just felt this cold, hard knot form in my stomach. It wasn't about the superstition. That was a lie. Jessica didn't care about energy. She was smart. Calculating. She wanted me gone for a reason. So, I decided to find out what that reason was. I'm a data analyst by trade. Finding patterns is what I do. I started digging into Jessica. Not her Instagram. Her real life. I found her old roommate from college on a forum. I sent a message. No response. I found her ex-fiancé. Yes, There was one, on LinkedIn. He blocked me immediately when I mentioned her name. But then I found the police report. It took me 3 days of scouring public records in 3 different states. It turns out Jessica has a history. A specific kind of history. She targets men with potential inheritance or family money, gets engaged, and then, bad things happen. Financial bad things. But that wasn't the smoking gun. The smoking gun was what I found on Mark. See, Mark isn't just bad with money. Mark is in trouble. Real trouble. I found emails on an old shared cloud drive he forgot to disconnect from my laptop years ago. He's been gambling. Sports betting. He's in the hole for roughly $150,000 to some very unsavory people. And here's the twist I didn't see coming. Jessica didn't want me there because I'm bad luck. She wanted me gone because I'm the only one who looks at the bank statements. The wedding. It wasn't a celebration. It was a merger. Mark was marrying Jessica to get access to a trust fund she claimed to have, to pay off his debts. Jessica was marrying Mark because she thought he was the rich one, based on the lies our mother told everyone at the country club. They were 2 con artists trying to con each other. And my presence, my prying eyes, my questions, threatened to bring the whole house of cards down before the ink was dry on the marriage license. I could have just told them. I could have called Mark and said, "She's broke, you idiot." I could have called Jessica and said, "He's gambling away money he doesn't have." But they banned me. They humiliated me. They took my money and treated me like a disease. So, I decided to let them get married. I wanted that contract signed. I wanted them legally bound to each other's disasters. But I couldn't let the reception go by without a gift. Remember the DJ I paid for? His name is Tony. Tony and I went to high school together. Tony didn't know I was banned. He just knew I was the one signing his checks. I called Tony the night before the wedding. "Hey," I said. "I can't make it. Family emergency." But I recorded a special toast for Mark. "Since I paid for your services, can you do me a solid and play it right after the best man speech? Don't announce it. Just play it." Tony, bless his heart, said, "Sure thing, Sarah. Bummer you can't be there." If only he knew. Now, imagine the scene. The reception is at this swanky hotel downtown. Crystal chandeliers, overpriced salmon, my mother weeping fake tears of joy in the front row. Mark and Jessica are at the head table, looking like royalty. The best man finishes his speech, probably some drunk ramblings about fraternity days. Everyone claps. Glasses clink. Then, the lights dim slightly. My voice comes over the speakers. "Hi everyone. It's Sarah. I know I'm not there in person, security made sure of that, but I couldn't let my big brother get married without saying a few words. I wasn't there, but my cousin texted me a play-by-play. She said the room went dead silent. Mark turned pale. Jessica looked like she was about to snap a fork in half. My voice continued. "Mark, we've been through a lot. I remember when you crashed your car and I picked you up. I remember when you lost your job and I paid your rent. But mostly, I'm thinking about how happy you must be right now. Finally, you don't have to worry about that $150,000 gambling debt to the guys in Vegas. You found Jessica." According to my cousin, a murmur rippled through the room. My mother actually stood up, waving her hands at the DJ booth to cut it. But Tony thought this was a pre-planned roast. He gave my mom a thumbs up and cranked the volume. "And Jessica," my recording continued, "I'm so happy for you too. I know how hard it's been since your last fiancé sued you for fraud in 2019. It's great you found Mark. Although, I should probably mention, Mark doesn't have the inheritance Mom talks about. Dad spent that on his second wife. Mark is actually negative $150,000. But I'm sure your trust fund can cover it, right? Oh wait. The public records say that trust fund dried up 3 years ago." At this point, Jessica stood up and screamed. Not at the DJ. At Mark. You're broke, she shrieked. The microphone at the head table was still on. The whole room heard it. Mark, panicked, yelled back, "You sued your ex for fraud?" My recording wasn't done. I had one last little dagger. "I hope you two are very happy together. You deserve each other. Truly." Oh, and Mark. The check for the florist bounced this morning because I cancelled it. You might want to handle that before they come to collect the vases. The aftermath was chaotic. My cousin told me it dissolved into a screaming match within seconds. Jessica's father tried to punch Mark. My mother fainted, actually fainted, drama queen to the end. The hotel staff eventually had to intervene because the florist actually did show up with a van to repossess the centerpieces mid-argument. I was sitting on my couch, eating pizza, when my phone started blowing up. First it was my mom. "How could you? You ruined everything." Then Mark. "I'm going to kill you. You're dead to me." Then Jessica. "You jealous bee asterisk 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 asterisked." I blocked them all. But here is where it gets interesting. I thought that was it. I thought I just burned the bridge and walked away. But yesterday, I got a call from a lawyer. Not their lawyer. A forensic accountant. It turns out, by announcing Mark's debt publicly, I triggered something. One of the guests at the wedding was Mark's boss. He had no idea Mark was in that kind of financial trouble. In the finance world, massive undisclosed gambling debt is a huge compliance violation. Mark got fired on Monday morning. And Jessica? Her ex-fiancée from the fraud case? He has a Google alert set up for her name. He saw a video of the toast that someone, probably my cousin, posted on TikTok. It went viral. He's now reopening his case against her because he realized she's still running scams. They are legally married. They are stuck together. Mark has no job and massive debt. Jessica is facing renewed legal trouble and has no rich husband to bail her out. My mother is currently trying to spin this to the relatives as a prank gone wrong, but nobody is buying it. The family chat is silent except for distant aunts asking for the tea. People ask me if I feel guilty. I look at the bank account where my savings used to be, drained by helping a brother who never respected me. I look at the text messages calling me bad luck. And I realize something. I was bad luck for them. But only because I was the truth. And people who build their lives on lies are terrified of the truth. They wanted a wedding without me. They got it. But they also got a marriage based on total transparency, courtesy of my AV skills. I'm thinking of taking a trip with the money I saved on the wedding gift. Maybe somewhere tropical. Somewhere with no cell service. Because honestly, being the villain feels fantastic.